Clac, clac, clac. Bon, attendez.
Wait, let me wipe it off a bit.
Clac, clac, clac. Merde.
Shit.
Clac, clac, clac. Ah, elle marche plus.
It doesn't work anymore. Oh, now it does.
Là, c'est le Cap Horn.
Here is the Cape Horn.
Ça, c'est une partie du chemin.
This is a good part of the way, and it's the 6th time I've crossed the Cape Horn.
C'est la troisième fois.
The 3rd in 4 years.
C'est pas fini.
It isn't over yet, but it's a good step
Ça, c'est
done.
une bonne étape de fête. Voilà. Allez, mon pépère. Allez, mon Hubert.
Come on, my man. Come on, my old man. There you go.
Et voilà.
That's it.
Bah, je suis content d'être là. Et puis,
I'm happy to be here. Glad you helped me.
J'espère que vous êtes contents d'être avec moi.
And I hope you're also happy to be here with me because, as you can see, we're able to accomplish a lot together.
Merci à tous.
Thanks to you all.
Clac, clac, clac.
Jean Le Cam and Jan Elies, truly inseparable, both crossed the Cape Horn with only 1 hour and 8 minutes difference, and have since resumed their side-by-side duel. The problem is that Jean's VHF no longer works, so we can't talk the way we like to. It's kind of dumb because we're 5 miles apart, and we have to use the phone to talk to each other. A real sketch. The 19 skippers of the Vendee Globe still in the race have already or soon will celebrate the new year according to the time zones. The first, closest to the anti-meridian, the line of the change of date, was the Irish Enda. The last will be the American Rich Wilson.
Voilà, c'était le réveillon.
Here, New Year's celebration on board Comme un seul homme. All right, bye.
Hi everybody. Well, not much sleep again last night without the wind shifting everywhere, without the anemometer, wind direction and wind speed. It was very difficult to be able to get much sleep. But now I have an anemometer, and actually, just while I'm talking to you, I've just noticed I seem to have picked up a bit of seaweed, a bit of kelp on my deck spreader there, so that shows you the bit of heel I've had while sailing with no foil on port tack. So I have an anemometer now. There she is, hanging on the back of the boat. It looks a bit Heath Robinson, but actually it's a planned and prepared piece. The pieces were made before we left, and so all I had to do was fit them in place, glue them in, wire the whole thing up, stick in the offsets, and so now I'm driving on wind angle, which means I'll be able to get some sleep, and I tell you, I am looking forward to that. So without further ado, that's what I'm going to go and do. Speak to you later. Well, a very warm welcome to our last Vendee Globe Live of 2016. It is day number 56 out on the racecourse on this 8th edition of the Vendee Globe, and we're 8 weeks into the race, 8 sevens or 56, so we should be right there. So, closing towards Rio at the moment, the two leaders, Arkel'd and Alex Thompson, will get to within 100 miles or thereabouts of the Olympic venue, the end of the Olympic year. Arkel'd in the gold medal position, and Alex Thompson in silver. Alex about 133 miles behind at this midday rankings. In the meantime, Enda is away from Stewart Island. He's had a very, very problematic and stressful repair sequence. He left this morning. It took him a long overnight period while he managed to make all his repairs. But the good news is that he's off and running. He's heading east, and we were hoping to join him today, but we've given him 24 hours grace. We'll join him tomorrow and get the full story of his repairs. But great to see Enda back on the racecourse and in good shape. In the meantime, 3 boats rounded Cape Horn yesterday in the first. In the early part of the morning, around about 6:40 in the morning, it was Jean-Pierre Dick, and then Jean Le Cam in the late afternoon, and then an hour, just over an hour behind him, Jan Elies. so all 3 round and in good shape. Guest today, well, on Skype, we have in England the editor of Yachting World, Elaine Bunting. Elaine has covered very many Vendee Globes. A warm welcome to you, Elaine. We'll join you very shortly. We have a race director, Jack Carrius, who's joined us for this programme, and also Guillaume. Now, we're trying to be very interactive today. If you have questions for any of our guests, then please put them on Twitter, put them on Facebook, and we'll try and answer them over the course of the programme. In the meantime, let's start off with our 3D animation, our fly through the fleet as at midday today. And the battle at the front of the fleet, as I say, towards Rio just now. Then Arkel'd just made some miles on Alex since yesterday, but it's largely stable. You can just see the wind field there. A little bit more wind to the left towards the coast, and that's the balance for them in the meantime. Jeremy Bayou going quite well, a little bit light in the last 24 hours. And then the 3 boats at Cape Horn, or around Cape Horn, led by Jean-Pierre Dick. Then Jean Le Cam and Jan Elies. Elies is now past and up into the 1 position ahead of Jean Le Cam. Louis Burton still out on his own, going well. Less than 1,000 miles to Cape Horn now. Conrad Coleman catching up with Nandor Fa. Conrad got a little bit more wind pressure just now. And then behind Eric Bellion leading the group of 4. Rich Wilson headed up to the north, avoiding action, getting a clear of this low pressure that's coming down towards them. There's Enda O'Coining at Stewart Island. And then behind Roman Atanasio and Didac Costa. Didac just slowed, still making repairs to his autopilot system yesterday, or the rudder stop pilot yesterday. So he's been caught up a little bit by Roman. Meantime, Sebastian Destromo and Peter Harima probably, we think, routing towards Bass Strait. So let's join Elaine Bunting, our guest. Elaine, you've watched very many Vendee Globes over the last years. What stands out about this edition so far?
Oh, I think one of the things that I've really enjoyed about this race is the variety of people in it. There hasn't been a great rate of attrition this time. And so we've been able to see more people develop more fully throughout the course of the event. And from front to back, we've got some really fascinating stories that are, carry on being told and are really compelling to follow.
Elaine, one of our real characters and somebody who had really a 10-year dream or a 12-year dream to do this race is Conrad Coleman and Foresight Natural Energy. And Conrad, I hope, is joining us now. Conrad, how are you?
G'day, Andy. I'm there with you now.
Conrad, how was the last day of 2016 for you?
Oh, it was very relaxing. After all of the challenges faced so far in the rest of the year, the last day was wonderful. Reaching in quiet, calm winds, it was grey all around me. I was really enjoying tidying my room after the disasters of the sails lately, and so we're getting on with today. So no, it was wonderful. Ready to attack 2017.
But if I told you a year ago you'd be in this position on the Vendee Globe, what would you have said to me?
We should have made a bet, mate. We should have made a bet. Goodness me. Yeah, top 10 in the Vendee Globe. I've got to be pretty satisfied with that, although it certainly hasn't come easily, that's for sure.
Congratulations on your race so far. And the next question, obviously, is where would you like to be in a year's time?
It helps away somewhere quiet and away from the ocean. All things in moderation. I think that has to include racing around the world. So I'm happy to be doing it this year, and I'm going to be happy that I'm not going to be doing it next year. So yeah, looking forward to doing something different next time.
Conrad, we have Elaine Bunting with us live on Skype. Elaine, do you have a question for Conrad?
Yeah, Conrad, I've been following you avidly. You've had to overcome a huge amount of adversity with the fire on board and so on. And I think, was it yesterday or the day before, your jib ripped? Is that a major obstacle for you?
Okay.
Sorry, Elaine. I just missed the last part of your question. Can you say again?
Yeah, your jib ripped the other day, Conrad. Is that a major problem for you?
It is. It is. Sadly, it's the second sail that is now out of commission for the rest of the race. And the Solent is basically our working jib, so we use it in many circumstances, from medium conditions upwind to heavy conditions downwind, and it's a big blow for my my Atlantic campaign going back to the sub-zone, which often includes a lot of upwind sailing in sort of medium conditions. So it means that I'm going to be doing a lot more changes, because I'll be switching in a lot more between my Code Zero and upwind sail and my J3 or the stay sail, the smallest jib that I have, to try and balance the boat and keep a good pace going upwind. So it means more work for me, and sometimes I'm going to be slower. So I'm thankful to have a bit of a cushion towards the boats behind me, and that may well be eaten away as the weeks continue, if we have a lot of upwind sailing to do.
Any more, Elaine? Elaine? Do you have any more questions for Conrad?
I'm still there.
No, I think we've seemed to... Apparently not. Anyway,
I think
Conrad,
we're off there.
yeah, Conrad, tell us a little bit about your boat, because it's not so well known within the IMOCA fleet, and it seems to have proven a little bit of a find.
Yes, you can say that it was a bit of a diamond among the rough, really. It's a boat that was built in Brazil, designed by a South African guy, Angelo Lavernos, who lives in Auckland, in New Zealand, which is my hometown. And so, from the date of its birth, it was an international boat, which befits my project. And since 2006, 2007, it's been in France, and it pulled out of the 2008 Vendee Globe with electronics problems, which I've been working day in, day out to make sure that I avoid the same fate. But it's been hard work, because I've had lots of problems with my pilot as well. I've now done 10 Chinese drives and ripped 2 sails as a result, so it's hard keeping the boat in the race. And then in 2008, the boat was turned over to a charter company and did lots of day charters in Lorient, my hometown. And so I've been walking past this boat every day since 2009 and really didn't give it a second look. And then as the field's narrowed in terms of potential boats for this edition of the Vendee Globe, I kind of realized that there was this great boat with really solid foundations that was right underneath my nose, and I find it was very definitely the best boat that remains on the market, and it's still got a good turn of speed on it, so I'm really happy to have found Galileo and to be doing this race with it.
And what's its kind of strengths and weaknesses vis-a-vis the boats round about you at the moment?
I'm not so sure there are too many boats around me at the moment. I've got Nando with his boat from 2014, 300 miles ahead of me, and then 1,000 miles behind. We've got a number of really good boats from 2008.
Yeah.
And so it's been an older boat than these ones. It's less powerful, and the hull form is a little bit rounder. And so it's actually really, really good at going upwind and downwind, and less good at reaching. So thankfully I've got lots of reaching ahead of me these next few days. So we'll see how I get stuck on with that though. But it's certainly an example of an earlier era of boat, in the sense that it has very little protection of the cockpit, and has been quite a struggle sometimes in the south, because I've taken big waves into the cockpit, and it's been hard to protect myself sometimes. but still, it's got a great turn of speed, and I'm ahead of a lot faster boats in this race. So that comes down to reliability and consistency, and I think that we've been doing well on that point.
Good. Listen, Conrad, we have Jacques Carré, the race director here. He'd like to say hello and maybe ask a question, Jacques.
Yes. Hello, Conrad. Happy to speak with you. And first, I would like to...
Likewise. Thank you, Jacques.
Yes, to say you a very nice felicitation for the course you make on this race and all the positivity you show to us. And my question is, in front of you, very close to you now, you have Nandorfa. And I know you have a really good story with Nandor at the last Barcelona World Race. Is it for you really an objective to reduce distance with Nandor?
Yes, but it could be anybody in front of me, and I would still want to reduce my distance to them. You know, I'm a competitor. I guess I fall into the category of one of the adventurer sailors in this edition of the race, because I knew at the start that I couldn't win and wasn't going to be competitive, but I am very happy to participate in this edition of the race anyway. But still, I'm a competitor with everything that I do, and I try to execute every maneuver and every tactical option as if I was fighting for the win. But it's funny to be here with Nando, because we were here 2 years ago together on the same boat, and now we're separated only by a couple of 100 miles, and we've gone two-thirds of the way around the world. However, a really, really great race, and I am starting to have some problems with the boat, with 2 sailors there now, and I think that I'm going to be limited in my options to put pressure on him. And so we'll see. We'll see that we've got some interesting weather options coming up before we get to Cape Horn. I think that we're going to end up in quite different places in the South Pacific in the next few days, and that could open up some options. But regardless, I'm very happy to be here close to Nandor. We both have had a difficult road to get to this point, and the fact that we're both still in the race is great news for both of us.
Conrad, fantastic job so far. Listen, a very, very good new year to you, and we'll speak again very shortly. Conrad Coleman.
Thank you very much. Best wishes to all of you.
Thank you, Conrad. Take care. We'll speak soon.
All right, sounds good. Bye.
So, Elaine Bunting, then, your thoughts on Conrad Coleman's race?
He's done an extraordinary job. I mean, he's had to overcome so many things, so many problems. He had the fire on board that destroyed so much of the cabling, and I guess maybe that's the reason why he's got these autopilot problems. But that's something not to be underestimated, because you know, that in itself is potentially a risk to him as well as his race. So you see, he explained just now how that has led to the sail damage that he has. So it's almost this sort of chain of events that can happen from one thing to the next. So he's doing a great job in terms of just straightforward seamanship, you know, balancing just exactly how hard to race in order to get round the course. And that's incredibly admirable.
And you picked up on that story about how he found the boat. He walked past it every day, and it kind of narrowed down to being the best option for him. It's an incredible story.
Yeah, maybe it's fate, because he's done so much to get here, hasn't he? He's sailed with Nandor. He's been around the world already. It's like everything has led to this point in time, and he's got a great character, because you know, he's got that enthusiasm that comes with doing the Vendee Globe for the very first time and seeing everything absolutely fresh. So he does have a special spirit that the race benefits from, I think.
Absolutely. What do you think about the battle at the front of the fleet between Armel and Alex?
Well, I mean, that's really fascinating, isn't it? And I think, you know, whoever you're rooting for, you have to hope that at some point in the next few days, Alex and Armel get a little bit closer, that it leaves something hanging in the balance. Because that nip and tuck coming up to the finish is really what can bring the race alive. And it's a really interesting battle between two foiling boats. So there's another dimension to that's interesting.
They're very different characters. Obviously, you've interviewed Armel over the years. You know Alex very well. How do you characterise them both?
Well, I mean, my impression, I'm disadvantaged, I'm afraid, by not speaking French, so I'm not absolutely clear with all the nuances of Armel's conversation. But he plays his cards very close to his chest, doesn't he? And he revels in that reputation, the jackal, the guy that hunts to the last. And Alex, by contrast, has increasingly, I think, over the years, become much more open. He wears his heart on his sleeve. And it's just a different personality. Now, whether underneath it all there are things that he's not telling us, who knows?
I'll tell you this, it was interesting this morning that he was on a live for another French TV station, and I think he said that he'd had some problems, but he's put them behind us. Is that right, Jacko?
Yes, they don't say a lot of things.
He didn't say what his problems were, but
No.
he said they're behind him, and he's pretty much close to 100%. What are your thoughts on the race of Armel and his character? Because he's very much a bit of a machine, isn't he?
Yes, completely. Armel is very quiet. He don't want to say too much thing. It's why that's the game. In fact, I don't want to say if he has damage on board. It looks good. Everything looks good. So that's the competitions. I want to be very, very quiet and to be very big determination to the end.
And interesting this morning is that his beard is gone, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's for the new year.
For the new year. Thanks, Jacko. We were talking briefly about Alex Thompson and how he's really come out of his shell in this race in particular, becoming more and more media friendly. This is his video from yesterday, just explaining the situation vis-à-vis the weather at the moment as in the high pressure system. This is Alex. So unfortunately, no sound there. We'll come back to that hopefully. But let's have a look at the meteo, the weather as of the last day of the year. The meteo, the weather. Thank you.
No sound.
Still no sound.
AB.
So we do seem to be having our technical problems today. Hopefully this is just for today, for the last day of the year. And we're trying to have some interactive questions, and we've had one or two. One of them coming in was about the future, really, of the Vendee Globe. We had Eric from Norway was asking specifically, I'm going to put this to Elaine to start with, saying the foiling revolution has dramatically changed the sport of sailing and the Vendee Globe. Will this increase the costs of participating, and will this force the Vendee Globe to divide into one classic class and a foiling class? So we'll start with that for you, Elaine, and I'll come to you, Jacko, in 1 second.
Yeah, that's a really interesting question, Eric. Will it increase the cost? It already has done. There's allegedly developing the foils has cost some of the teams. I've heard figures as large as £500,000 per set of foils. So, there's already it's the law of unintended consequences, isn't it? That's the class sought to consolidate around some factors, the keel and the rig, and then you've got an area of large and expensive development. So what you can say about this race, I don't know actually. Maybe the jury is out on the foils, in the sense that SMA isn't here anymore. So in the race, so we're unable to see just how it would be competing against the foil equipped boats, bearing in mind there was exceptional weather coming down the Atlantic. So, and I noticed yesterday that Jeremy Bayou gave an interesting interview to Voilier, the French magazine, and they asked him specifically, how useful has your foils been in the Southern Ocean? And he replied, very limited. So in this race, maybe it's not so cut and dried as you might think. But then again, in 4 years' time, that's 4 years of development. The sailors are going to be much more expert at using them. The foils will be much better at going upwind than this present generation. And maybe, and this is perhaps a question for Jacques, maybe the class will come around some idea of foil control systems, which was a point that was raised by Seb Joss. He said the class might need them, and perhaps that's something they're going to think about, and all of which will take the foils considerably away from the non-foiling boats in terms of performance. So at the moment, could you be on the podium without followers? Yeah, no problem. 4 years' time, no question mark. And I think, Eric, you're absolutely right. I think the class could well divide into two.
Pass that question to Jaco. What do you think about the future of the race vis-à-vis foils or no foils? I mean, the Vendee Globe is owned by the region. They have no requirement to race with the Moccas. Anything could happen.
Yes, sure. For the moment, we have to wait the end of this race, and the new convention will be 2 months after the finish line of the last competitor. So, of course, the roots of the Vendee Globe is still going with this class, IMOCA class, and after the class decide what they want to make for the future. If they want, they just authorize the foil this year. I think for the future, maybe more boats will come with foil. It's sure it's an advantage of speed, and after it has to be safety. So they don't use them in all the conditions with those that, and it's sure it's a really good thing for the boats.
At the moment, though, the span of the boats from first to last is 8,000 miles. Could you cope in race direction with a bigger span? Does it matter, or is that?
Yes, that's maybe a problem. What we think we could do is maybe for the qualification to have more qualification, to be sure the competitors can sail more than they did. And I think it's a good thing because it's a very special race and we need to have boats with sail a lot with the boats. It's not easy because the budget are not very easy to get in advance. So that's the problem, the number one problem.
Good. And the other question that we had was a question about the alarm systems on board from Dawn. She was asking what systems do they have on board the boats for alarms in terms of other shipping and other craft in the water.
Yeah, between boats they have a HIS system. It's an automatic system to have information together with high frequencies. So that is a good thing. They are obliged to put it on reception and emission all the time. If it works, that's really good information for security first. But in boats, they have also alarm for distance. We know we have the exclusive zone not to enter in, so they can put some alarm of distance of that. That's a good thing. And of course, alarm for the wind direction, so they can sleep with better condition. They can be awake if it's necessary. So the informatics in board are more and more important for them. But the distance is long. We have to maintain all of the system in order. That's a big job for all the competitors to do.
We have one question, I think, from Guillaume, from one of our internauts for Jaco.
Yes, we have one question for Jacques from Lilifa, Nandor's daughter. She would like to know when you are on duty, how much time can you sleep? Because you are watching the boats all the time.
Yes, we do some watches. We do 8 hours each of them. We are 4 guys at the race management. And we try to, like in a boat, we try to do some time for rest. But if we have a crisis moment, we are, of course, 2 people at the office. Normally, each 8 hours we change guys and we can awake normally. But in fact, when you follow the race like this one, you sleep only with one eye.
You do, just like the sailors.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, you live the same life, the same schedule in some ways as the sailors, don't you?
Yes, it's a little bit like that. We have to be very close to the competitors, but we are more comfortable in the office than they are in the boat.
Just a little bit. It's drier, isn't it, mostly?
That's true.
Elaine, just a few words. We were hoping to have had Enda O'Coining today. Your thoughts on Enda's race? You know, he's having the full adventure.
He's having the full adventure, absolutely. And there's a sailor who really brings something incredible to the Vendee Globe. You can't put Enda in any kind of box, can you? I mean, he's not a type. He's having a race of tremendous seamanship and great adventure. And I really hope he gets everything that he needs to sorted out in Stewart Island, because he's had this accumulation of problems now. But he's brought us everything, hasn't he? He's brought us humour, poetry, heartfelt. You know, he's brought the despair and the hope and everything that you can bring emotionally from the race to us on his videos. I'm really enjoying following him.
Well, he does seem to have quite a few problems to solve, which he's managed to get going. And I was talking with his technical director, Marcus Hutchison, and he was saying that one of the things last night, he had 4 hours of a constant phone call trying to get the computers booted up and his autopilots. But of course, Enda's a different kind of character, very similar in some ways to Peter Harima, where he's used as a businessman to paying his money and having things work. And if they don't work, then you bring someone in to fix it. And so fixing autopilots, fixing computers is relatively alien to him. And so it was a long night, but things do have to seem to have been fixed.
Is that a question for me, Andy?
No, well, if you want to respond to that, for sure, I'd just say there's a different mindset with guys like Peter Harima, who have come into the race, as I say, as a businessman and a sailor, who's used to paying money to have a service, and the same to a certain extent with Enda. They're not hands-on guys like Conrad, like some of the other sailors who can turn their hand to anything, and so it's very tough for them.
It is, but don't forget, it's not just about what skills you have and being used to paying other people. These are the panoply of skills that you can only have if you're a professional sailor doing this day in, day out. What they have on board these boats now is so complex with all the electronic systems. I just don't think, unless you were doing this 300 days a year, that you could possibly have that range of skills. And so, you know, he's the typical person who has all of the seamanship, but he's not a technician. And I don't think that you could reasonably expect anybody who wasn't a professional sailor to have all of those tools at their disposal. I mean, what they bring, though, is something completely different, is an open-heartedness and a willingness to share absolutely everything with us that maybe the professionals don't have. But you're right, it's a completely different ballgame for him.
Well, one skipper who we've spoken to regularly, who's got fantastic English and really is sharing his adventure with us every day, is Eric Bellion. We spoke with Eric Bellion this morning, and this is what he was saying. He just had a few kind of down moments just in the turn of the year, but really just he really turned the kind of corner during our conversation and really started to appreciate what he was doing and thinking ahead to the next year. And this was Eric Bellion this morning.
Yeah, I'm very happy of this year, of what I accomplished. I have to stay focused on the race, on my boat, on myself, and it's a big job for me. It's so fantastic to be here, you know, to be still alive, to live this incredible sunset in the Pacific, in the South Pacific. I'm a very gifted guy. I know that. I am really, it's tough condition and it's a tough life, but I wouldn't change for anything. And it's a real life. And for sure, I will always remember this sunset and this first day of 2017. It's incredible. You know, for a man like me who enjoys sailing, but is not a professional, is not a competitor, I never dreamed about the Vendee Globe when I was a kid because it was just impossible. And now I'm here and I'm among incredible sailing men.
Eric Bellion then talking about tough life and tough conditions, a little bit like life on the plateau today. Guillaume, your thoughts on the French skippers? You had 3 or 4 over the course of the morning. Who was saying what?
So we had Eric, of course, but we had also Alan at 10 this morning.
Alan Rura?
Alan Rura, yes, the Swiss guy, the 23-year-old skipper. No problem on La Fabrique. He's very happy and very motivated to sail with all the guys around him. And he's ready to celebrate the new year with the chicken with tarragon. And he will drink rum, but not champagne. He will save it for the Cape Horn. And in the French live, we had also Jan Elies. Very, very good race from
Cape
Jan.
Horn?
Yes, I think so. First Cape Horn
for Jan, yeah.
But
Not first.
No.
the third one. Third one,
Yeah,
but first in solo.
Single-handed.
First
yes.
solo,
Yeah.
but he didn't enjoy it because he had a problem with the mainsail, so he had to fix it and he didn't see the Cape Horn. And finally we had Arnaud Boissier. He was a bit down last few days, but he cheers up. Happy New Year, and he will continue.
Good. And it's a marathon?
Not a sprint.
Indeed. Jacko, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank
Your
you.
final thoughts on the race at the moment? Anything you want to add?
No, happy New Year to everybody, and from Tour Eiffel, from Tower Eiffel.
Eiffel Tower indeed, yes. So thank you all for your interest over the course of 2016. It really is so much appreciated. Nothing changes. Tomorrow we're back with a live at midday UTC. Our guest on Skype hopefully will be Alan Roberts, the young Figaro solitaire sailor. New year, new resolutions for everyone and all that. Thanks to all in the regis in the studio there for all the hard work over the course of the race so far. To all the guests, past, present and future. To my mum, to my Nina, to everyone that knows me. And into 2017 with Auld Lang Syne.
Hello, Rich Wilson aboard Great American 4, coming up to another milestone here, crossing the international date line. You can see right here we're at 179.59 east. That's going to turn to a W there for west longitude pretty shortly. Here we are in the boat icon, just crossing this line. Here is the 180-degree west line, and interestingly we're between the Bounty Islands and the Antipodes Islands, which are opposite on the planet from Greenwich at 50 north and 0 degrees longitude. So here we're coming up to it now. 59,981, almost there, W, west longitude, western hemisphere. Now we count down towards the finish in France. We count down towards Cape Horn. We count down towards, which is at the same latitude as Boston, where I'm from. And so we're counting down towards home, ultimately. And what a good feeling that is. So finally across the international date line and into the Western Hemisphere.
Bonjour, on est le 31 décembre 2016. Dans quelques heures, on va passer en 2017. Alors je voulais vous souhaiter à tous une très belle année à venir, plein de belles choses. Nous ici, on est dans l'Atlantique Sud, au large du Brésil. On est à moins de 400 km de Rio de Janeiro. Et on va faire du prêt, on est au prêt là pour quelques jours. Donc ça penche. C'est pas très confortable, ça mouille un peu, ça tape. Mais c'est le prix à payer pour aller chercher les alizés dans le nord et pouvoir accélérer dans 3-4 jours. Et bon, en tout cas content de retrouver du vent et de la vitesse après avoir vécu des jours un peu compliqués. Alors bonne année à tous, plein de belles choses, rendez-vous en 2017. Ciao ciao.
Ouais, je vous entends impeccable.
Ah ben voilà, ben parfait. Ben on voulait vous féliciter pour votre troisième passage du Cap Horn et votre premier en solo. Qu'est-ce que ça change?
Bah écoutez, pas grand-chose au final parce que je l'ai pas vu comme les deux autres fois. Et puis malheureusement j'ai eu un petit souci sur ma grand voile lors du dernier empannage, juste avant de contourner le Cap Horn. Du coup ça m'a un peu gâché le plaisir. J'ai tout de suite sorti la boîte à outils, appelé l'équipe technique pour savoir comment j'allais pouvoir réparer ça. Donc au final, bon, je n'ai pas pu en profiter correctement.
En tout cas, vous en avez profité pour reprendre la 5e place à Jean-le-Cam ce matin. Donc la lutte, la bagarre continue avec votre compère des mers du Sud.
Bah ouais, mais alors le problème c'est que Jean il a plus de VHF, alors on peut plus parler. Et ça c'est quand même un peu con, parce que on est à 5000 l'un de l'autre. On est obligé de s'appeler au téléphone pour parler, quoi. C'est le sketch. Hein.
Ah ben là, vous nous privez en plus de ces vidéos que Jean nous a envoyées, de vos discussions de comptoir. On se croirait au bar de la Une à Port-la-Forêt, sur vos analyses du duel pour la victoire entre Alex Thompson et Armel Lecléache. Alors on en profite avec vous. Quelle est votre analyse aujourd'hui justement de ce qui se passe devant ?
Bah, je pense que voilà, Armel n'a pas eu de chance. Hein. La situation météo n'était pas facile pour lui. Je pense que par contre, il peut faire le trou pendant qu'il y a du prêt, qu'il y a des bords à tirer. Et normalement, Alex est moins rapide au prêt que lui. Hein, sur les derniers entraînements hein, pour la forêt et sur le trophée Azimut, là où il avait la dernière version de foil, Armel il allait commencer quand même à laisser assez vite au prêt. Hein. Donc je serais plutôt en faveur d'Armel. Mais bon, voilà, on ne sait pas exactement quel est le potentiel des bateaux et quelle météo va être plus favorable. Je pense que c'est kiff-kiff, ça va être chaud jusqu'au bout.
Olivier.
Ouais, Yann, bonjour Olivier. Félicitations déjà pour ce 3e Cap Horn. Est-ce que tu peux nous faire un bilan des mers du Sud pour toi? On sait que tu as dû ralentir 2 fois, notamment pour laisser passer des grosses tempêtes. Ça n'a pas été facile pour toi.
Ouais, bah c'est vrai que voilà, c'est souvent comme ça. Ceux de derrière ont des conditions un petit peu moins bonnes. À chaque fois que il y a eu des opportunités de revenir dans les 3-4 premiers, ben ça s'est refermé. Il y a eu une grosse dépression qui s'est formée entre ce paquet de 4 bateaux et moi. Et donc du coup, à chaque fois, il a fallu que j'attende. Donc ça fait partie de la course. C'est des moments qui sont pas faciles à vivre parce que sportivement, tu es obligé de mettre des choses de côté. Il y a vraiment un moment, une rupture où tu es obligé d'accepter mentalement. Mais bon, aujourd'hui, je regrette pas parce que le bateau est en état. Je suis en compétition pour être premier des bateaux classiques. Hein. Avec Jean, on se bat pour être le premier bateau à dérive au Sable d'Olonne. Donc voilà, je pense que c'est un objectif qui est honorable et qui, si j'arrive à le réaliser, pourrait me permettre d'être satisfait de ma course. Donc voilà, il me reste encore 25 jours à moi et à Jean pour nous départager et puis que le meilleur gagne.
Et Yann, on est avec nous en plateau. On a avec nous en plateau Alexandre Chenet, le scénariste de la BD du Vendée Globe que vous avez rencontré et qui a un petit mot pour vous.
Oui, Yann, bonjour. Donc c'est Alexandre. J'ai une petite question. Je t'avoue qu'il me dérange un peu de te poser. Je suis en France, dans mon salon, bien au chaud, peinard. Et quand je regarde ta course dans le Grand Sud, je me dis que tu es toujours resté dans l'esprit compétition. Tu as notamment parlé du Figaro. Donc tu es toujours dans est-ce que je vais passer par-ci, par-là, etc. Et je t'ai jamais entendu parler de ce qui pourrait relever du plaisir d'être dans les mers du Sud, du plaisir de la navigation. Là, tu vas passer 2 mois et demi, 3 mois en mer, ce qui n'a plus rien à voir avec le Figaro. Et je me demande si à un moment, tu as switché sur juste le plaisir d'être seul en mer, ou est-ce que tu t'accroches toujours à la compétition?
Bah écoute, c'est sûr qu'il y a eu des moments quand même magiques, hein, des petits éclats comme ça dans chaque journée. Pas dans toutes les journées malheureusement, mais je pense que dans la moitié du temps qu'on a passé dans le sud, un jour sur 2, il y avait des petits moments sympas. Je sais pas, un albatros qui vient, qui rase le bateau, une lumière sympathique. Là, dernièrement, c'est vrai qu'il y avait quasiment pas de nuit, donc la luminosité était sympa la nuit. Ah, je crois qu'on a été coupé.
Non, on vous entend.
Non, d'accord. Ce qui m'a manqué quand même beaucoup, hein, et je pense que c'est commun à tous les marins, c'est le contact avec ce qu'il peut y avoir dans l'eau, les animaux, les dauphins, les baleines, les phoques. J'ai quand même vu beaucoup plus de choses sur les derniers trophées Jules Verne que j'avais fait, notamment parce que je pense qu'on passe quand même beaucoup plus de temps à l'extérieur et que malheureusement sur ces bateaux on est vraiment confiné à l'intérieur et c'est pour ça que c'est difficile d'observer ce qui se passe à l'extérieur. On est un peu moins proche de l'élément, je trouve.
Olivier avait encore une question.
Ouais, Yann, je voulais savoir si tu étais changé physiquement par ce mois dans les mers du Sud et plus globalement par les 54 jours de mer. Est-ce que tu peux nous expliquer physiquement les changements que tu ressens?
Les changements, j'ai besoin de soleil, malgré le fait que les journées durent quasiment 14 à 16 heures ici. J'ai besoin d'être à l'extérieur, de prendre des UV. C'est vrai qu'on est resté très longtemps confiné pendant ce mois passé dans le sud à l'intérieur du bateau. Donc je manque en gros d'UV et puis de vitamine D. Je sens que mes jambes sont quand même un petit peu atrophiées par rapport à un humain et un homme normal qui passe sa vie debout ou à marcher ou à courir. Mais bon, ça va un petit peu mieux qu'il y a quelques temps. Il y a un moment donné, j'avais du mal à tenir sur mes jambes. Sinon, je commence à avoir des petits manques. C'est vrai qu'en arrivant au Cap Horn hier, j'ai senti un petit peu quelques odeurs de la terre, tu vois, et certains goûts, certaines odeurs commencent à me manquer, comme, je sais pas moi, l'odeur de l'ajonc, de l'herbe, de la terre, quoi, tout simplement. Ça commence à me manquer. Mais bon, sinon, je trouve que je me tiens pas mal. Bon, vous allez voir mes mains, j'ai fait un peu de cica cette nuit, donc j'ai les mains blanches. C'est pas un changement dû au fait d'être en mer, mais c'est un des aspects du fait d'être en mer et d'avoir besoin de se bricoler.
Yann, une dernière question rapide. On est le 31 décembre. Qu'est-ce que vous allez faire ce soir pour votre changement d'année?
Eh ben, je vais appeler ma petite femme et ma fille, quoi. Je crois qu'ils vont passer ça assez simplement à la maison. Et puis, penser un petit peu à toute cette planète qui va fêter le changement d'année. Je me souviens des images qu'on voit souvent à la télé, les reportages, les feux d'artifice, les gens en liesse. Et puis nous qui finalement serons un petit peu en décalage avec tout ce qui se passe sur la terre ferme. Et voilà. Je crois que maintenant, rien ne peut me détourner de mon objectif qui est d'arriver le plus vite possible, en moins de 80 jours, quoi qu'il se passe à terre. Donc on vit ça vraiment un peu en décalé quand même, faut l'avouer.
Bon, on vous souhaite quand même un bon réveillon et puis surtout tous nos voeux pour 2017, que du bonheur. Et on vous attendra avec grand plaisir donc au Sable d'Olonne. À très vite en tout cas dans un prochain Vendée Live. On vous applaudit.
Merci.
Voilà, Yann Elies en 5e position depuis qu'il a repris la 5e place à Jean Le Cam, qu'on va regarder tout de suite d'ailleurs avec votre animation 3D, Olivier.